all, welcome to another Convoy stream because, well, the world is stupid. And joining me today, I have enlisted another Winnipegger so that we can have two crazy Canadians bitching about stupid people. Does that sum it up about right?
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a quick spin through chat. Welcome, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. I hope you have a great stream tomorrow. I will probably not be able to make it because, my son turned 18, and that means I haven't killed him yet. So I have to give him a birthday party. So that'll be tomorrow. But have a great stream, my friend, and I completely support your stream on the Ukraine. It needs to be brought to attention, and a lot more needs to be talked about. And there's a lot of things we could go down rabbit holes, and it still only have 5 hours worth of content. But anyway, today we have also with us Deleted Scenes. Welcome, sir. I hope to see you tonight. Rapid Slug ouchies. How you doing, Kronos? I mean, Rapid Slugs and Memes of Destruction. Welcome as well. And of course, my love, Miss Canuck, welcome. Hopefully you're gaming and winning, or at least force choking Mark. Or throwing a bottle at him.
He likes that, though, I think.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, this is the first time I've had you up on the panel, so welcome to the Insanity Loony Bin. I will give you a chance to promote your good stuff that you've been striving for and making some good headway. At the end of this, if you aren't subscribed to Zach's, I will say please do so. He, like I said, he's a fellow Winnipegger. We've sat down at a Tim Hortons and had a jaw jack before he had to run off to work. So
we did.
Just to kind of start off, where do you sit on this situation, and what have your thoughts been over this last little while?
I think, well, obviously I'm on the side of the truckers and the convoy. I guess that's not obvious, but I am. And I'm on that side because they did everything right in terms of the way they managed to do this protest. I get for people of Ottawa, it would be annoying. I can understand that. But that could have all been avoided and had our prime minister just sent someone to speak with them when they were first coming that direction. And we saw that across Canada, other provinces. When they heard this convoy was coming, all of a sudden mandates are being dropped, or at least being given timetables for when it's going to happen, different places. And so that's what they wanted initially. But you leave anything long enough, it becomes more extreme, and they ask for more, and more extreme people are attracted to that cause. Yeah. And so had he just talked to them right away, this would have never happened because their cause was just.
Well, you see, I've kind of said this since the beginning. What difference? What a difference we would have seen if they announced they're going to Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
And Trudeau comes on the screen and says, "I welcome them and I will meet with them."
That's it. That's
like, would it have? Did he have to come out and say, "I agree with them"? No, right?
No. But he calls them sick and runs away.
Well, yeah, and then he trashes them, he insults them, and I'm sorry, Mr. Trudeau, but when I was growing up, which wasn't that long ago, the rule was if you have to insult your opponent in a debate, you've lost.
Yes, I agree.
If you have to resort to name calling in an argument, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Because it means you've run out of arguments.
Well, and that particular side, it seems like, I'm biased, I admit, but what they appear to do is they don't even bother thinking that they need to have an argument. It's just, I'll just throw these labels out and then I'll shut them up, and that's it. So when he labeled them and they didn't stop, he didn't know what to do. And so he runs, then he gets mad, and it becomes an ego issue for him.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, the other thing too is if we look at this from a perspective of past precedents, which is a big word I've been using during these streams, past precedent. We've had, like, Zax, here in Winnipeg, we had a major protest
Yep.
here in Winnipeg, and you know what? And I said it then, kind of. I hinted at it. I supported the cause, but I couldn't stand with them.
Right.
Right? I believed in what they were fighting for, but I couldn't stand with them because of their actions.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I find that with a lot of modern protests, I can sympathize, or I can come to terms with what they're saying, but the means in which they do it, I can't support. So therefore, I can't stand with you.
Right.
Right? Like if one of your signs is white people must pay, well, I'm sorry, oops.
Right.
And I have children. So I'm sorry, I can't stand with that slogan.
And what does white even mean? How white are, right? What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but Australians had nothing to do with it back. Neither did Russians. They've got their own problems.
They do.
But so I sat there and I looked at this, and this was the first protest in a very long time that, one, I agreed with their sentiment, and two, I could stand with them.
Right.
Right. I would not be ashamed if a picture of me hit the 6:00 news at that protest, because I didn't have to worry about some really ridiculous thing being right behind me.
Right. No, you're right. That's correct.
A statue being torn down and beheaded behind me. I didn't have to worry about that being there. Right. I could go there, and I did once. I mean, let's face it, I'm not the best health, so I don't get out much.
Mm-hmm.
But I went once, and it was a great atmosphere. There was they were singing, they were dancing, honking their horns, but it wasn't anger.
No.
Right? It wasn't, we're going to burn this place to the ground unless we get what we want. It was more, can we get a mic so you can hear us just once, please? Hello? We're over here.
Yeah. Can we talk to Trudeau's secretary's best friend?
Yeah.
Can we have
twice
that?
removed? Twice removed. We'll even take twice removed, motherfucker. We'll even take twice removed. Come on, please. And it just dumbfounds me. And today I turned on the Twitter machine.
Oh.
And I happened to see that a place in Ontario, and I can't remember the damn name of it now, it's just a little small town in Ontario, is trending. And I'm like, what the why would that be trending? So I go over there, look, and what is it? It's a diner in that town. Now, she had really, really interesting views on the Convoy.
Okay.
Namely, she supported them.
Right.
And she wouldn't close her restaurant or anything else. The problem is now she's come out pro-Russian.
Okay.
Which everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has the right to their opinion.
Sure.
Right? Whether I agree with it or not, they have the right to it. So they're posting her and saying, see, this is what the trucker convoy people are like.
Oh, of course they're doing that. Yeah.
Right? Which is just like when there's a tornado in southern Alabama. Yep. And they find the most redneck mother trucker to put on the fucking TV. At least they do it for us. I don't know what they do in the States. But up here, they will find the most ridiculous, guy with a beer in his hand. I don't know, like just absolute redneck written all over his face.
Yeah.
And it's just, or they'll find, and the media does this all the time. They will find the most dumbest idiot that they can find. And that's the moron they put on TV.
Yeah, and he gets 4 words out, and they clip him.
Yeah, and then they clip them.
Yeah,
And then that's played over and over again, and it's the same idiot.
yeah, yeah,
And, I'm just like, is there an Idiots R Us available to these idiots? Because I'm pretty sure that was staged as a mother truck. Like, it's like
yeah.
nobody could be that stupid.
Well, I think what happens is they come up with, when their strategy of labeling doesn't work, and you're also a government. You're not on Twitter. This is not some person on Twitter.
No.
You represent all Canadians. You're supposed to, and you come out right away with the racist stuff and your
Yep.
white supremacist or whatever. Immediately label them that way, but then it doesn't work. Now, what do you do? Because if you talk to them, well, you said these guys are racist and white supremacists. Now I can't be seen talking to them. So you've created a situation immediately where you can't have any kind of dialogue or any kind of peaceful like resolution to the issue if you
No.
start with the label.
Yeah. Absolutely, you can't. Because I put it this way. The reason that nothing changes, and it doesn't matter what topic you're talking about, whether it's the convoy or whatever you want to throw in there, name cause, put cause, insert cause here,
Right.
is long time ago, it was learned that if you divide, you can conquer.
Yeah.
Military generals have been doing that for years, millenniums. And the easiest way to make sure that you stay in power is you divide those against you.
Right.
And as I've said in every live stream I've said on the convoy, well, we're busy arguing, they're busy doing.
Right.
Because we're too worried about our issues. And if it doesn't have to do with us, then we don't care. Go away.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I was a little disconcerted with, they like to tout the Nazi flags and
Oh my God.
and which was funny because it was the same picture over and over and over and over
Right.
again. It wasn't new pictures; it was the same fucking picture.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then well, what went against their logic? Well, then you start seeing the orange flags. Now, for those out of Canada, you won't understand what that means, but the orange flag started showing up.
Yeah.
And then they came out against that.
Right.
To the point where they had the person who designed the flag come out and say that they don't agree with them using their flag.
Yeah. Yeah, that turned a lot.
Right? Like, were they doing anything negative? Well, no, but this picture over here shows this, so I don't want my flag with that flag. Well, your flag wasn't with that flag. Your flag was next to the Canadian flag.
And that comes down to just the simple level of labeling they're trying to do with these people who are our people. And I think that they really misjudged A, Canadian Resolve, and B, truckers. Like, these are people who, will drive 18 hours and they'll do it over and over and over again. And Canadians in general, we're used to being locked up for half of the year in the winter. So we can settle in like nobody else.
Well, not only that, but I got news for you guys. They're truckers. They already live in their truck. Where their truck is parked doesn't bother them one bit.
That's right.
They already live in the darn thing. This is kind of day to day for them.
Yeah.
So it's they just haven't had to drive 18 hours. They can just sit in the back box, and they've probably got Wi-Fi and everything else known to man.
Yep.
They're good to go. I mean, they need diesel, but other than that, they're good to go.
Right.
And it just, my biggest argument that I've had with most people, either online or in person, is when I ask the simplest question in the world. If this was a cause you support, would you feel the same?
Right. Yeah.
And if you answer no, then you have a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's important we all check ourselves with that.
Right? Because if you're a major supporter of Aboriginal rights and it was Aboriginal people out there in Ottawa right now,
Yeah.
would you be calling for them to be arrested?
No. Nobody would.
No, you wouldn't. If you're a major proponent of gay rights and it was gay people protesting exactly the way, I'm not saying lighting stuff on fire or anything, just protesting exactly the same. Nothing changed, just the cause.
Yeah.
Would you be demanding them be arrested? No. Right?
No.
So
I have an example for that actually, and you do too, because you live here as well. And that whole area around our building, the legislature where they were protesting, was a homeless camp for how long?
yeah.
Like this is not unheard of that people camp out there when they want something.
No.
Something's going, or they don't like something. This is normal here.
Well, just think about what they did. I mean, and this is kind of going sidetrack, but you brought it up.
Right. Okay.
Where that protest was, okay? If you pan to if you're looking at the legislative building in front of that protest and you pan to the right, there's a church on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, behind that church for about a year, there was a makeshift community that lived in this little field behind it.
Right. Yeah.
Not only did they forcefully remove them, but they built a building there so that they could do it again.
Yeah. You have to be on the front street. Yeah.
Yeah. On Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But again, that's not in the news. It was for a bit, but it didn't get traction, so they dropped it immediately.
Barely. And what they do instead is they don't want to, instead of talking about what the actual initial demands were, they never addressed that. That was never brought up in the media.
Oh, no. Because the media's spin on that was, it wasn't, well, our government needs to get low income housing and quick because this is bullshit.
Right.
It was, people are complaining because their property values might be going down. Right? That was the spin.
Yeah.
This is unsafe for them and
needles.
Property values, and this makes this look bad and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They were more worried about property values than they were worried about the people sitting there.
That's right.
No. Property values took a more it's just, I mean, I could get into a couple other little arguments that are going on right now in the city, but I won't. Hello, XPPCLI base.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
The minute I said that, you knew what I was talking about, right?
Let's not do that one today.
That could get hot. Yeah. Gotta love Winnipeg politics. Anyway, so with the convoy, they did. I mean, yes. Am I going to sit here and say that every single person that participated isn't sketchy? No. Am I going to sit here and say I agree with everything that every single person who supported the protest said? No. But I agree with the base concept. Right?
Which is why they don't talk about the base concept. They talk about that one guy.
That's right.
And what he did, however many years ago.
Yeah.
And he is an asshole, but that doesn't mean that everyone is.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I find hilarious is if the shoe's on the other foot. Like when they were finding very interesting things about the BLM rallies and the people that were participating. Oh, well, that's just one bad egg. And but this is, as they so wonderfully coined, mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
To what should be an embarrassing degree. And because it's the same problem. The initial people there agreed on the cause, but A, they want to divide. overall, and B, more extreme people come the longer it goes on for. And so,
Yeah.
5 days in, you're burning down a target,
Yeah.
and that doesn't represent day one people.
No. And not only that, but you look at it, and even with, as they put it, the extreme people, right?
Hmm.
I didn't see a single statue get torn down. I didn't see a single business get rocks thrown through it.
Right.
I didn't see a single building get destroyed. I didn't see a single person get beaten, except for, the guy they ran over.
Hmm.
3 people they ran over here in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And it was
Which,
the protesters getting run over, not the other
yeah.
way around.
And that went away
Um,
quickly, hey? That story?
oh yeah, that was put on the backest burner they could find.
Yep.
And then so there was no, and I'm sorry, but that bullshit over the Terry Fox statue.
Oh,
Oh my
100%.
sweet lord. They acted like they cut his head off.
Yep.
They put a baseball cap on him, a Canadian flag, and a
Yep.
sign that can be easily removed.
Yes.
I'd like to go back. If I had the time and the resources and the energy, I'd love to go back to Ottawa during Canada Day
Hmm.
for the last 10 years. Wonder how many Canadian flags have been put on Terry Fox.
I'm sure thousands of them. And Terry Fox, when he was alive, put one on himself.
Yeah.
So there's like, it almost fits with the photo, but they didn't. That's why they didn't show us that on TV. The
Yeah.
video of the defacement, quote unquote. They talk about it. They say it's
Yeah.
been defaced, so you can imagine how horrible it is. They don't show what actually happened, which
No.
nobody in Canada would support defacing Terry Fox,
No.
which isn't what they did.
No. See, and that's the best they've got.
Yeah.
Because we were saying, well, where are the statues being defaced? Where are the buildings being, burned down to the ground? Well, look, Terry Fox got defaced. He got a Canadian flag put on him, a baseball cap, and a sign that within 5 minutes, if you really, really took your time, statue's good as new.
Right. And they did do that.
Right? It could be. He's probably had more stuff put on him in Canada during Canada Day,
right,
than they did there.
In fact, you could probably find pictures of him more quote unquote defaced from Canada days past.
Yeah, probably. In all likelihood, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it served the narrative. The problem is that was their best.
Yes, that's all they
that
had.
was the problem. It was the best they had. Because, you look at that one protest that I mentioned earlier, and folks, the reason I'm not bringing up what the cause was in that is because it is a very sore spot up here.
Yeah, it is.
And I do not, that's not where this is going to go. So I'm being very cryptic for a reason. Anyway, so you look at that, and we had Queen Victoria's statue that has been there since before I was born. Yeah. Spray painted, torn down, and beheaded.
Yep.
We had a Queen Elizabeth statue torn down. That, guess what, folks? The Manitoba taxpayers now have to pay for them to be refurbished.
And no one was even charged.
Oh, yeah, no. They had it all on camera, and they showed it on the live news like they were proud of this moment.
Yeah. Absolutely, they did, yeah. And
it wasn't, look what they faced the Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria. It was, hooray, hooray.
Right, and ask the people who defaced it, who is that? Most of them wouldn't know.
No. They've got it on camera, but and then our city, oh, yoy.
Oh, the statue. No charges. Who's Queen Victoria? They don't know.
And then you go, well, okay, to give you an example, okay, I used to be a scout leader, okay, for Scouts Canada. Mm-hmm. And I was in Scouts for 12 years of my life as a kid. So when I retired from work, I needed something to do that I could just volunteer. So I went into scouting and I was a leader. Well, our scouts got a tour of the ledge. So I'm there as leader and we're going through the ledge. We get to the royal room. And they have it all fenced off, and the chair that only the royal can sit in is there. And the person leading the tour proceeds to tell the young kids that Prince William, the Prince of Wales, has been to Winnipeg twice. Okay. At that point, I pissed her off when I says, question. She says, yeah. I said, when did Charles die? She goes,
oh, God.
Charles didn't die. Oh, okay. Then when did Elizabeth die? Because I must have missed that. And she says, no. I says, okay, so how did Charles, the Prince of Wales, hand over his title to his son? Not to mention Charles has been here twice. William has never stepped foot in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she turned very red. Yeah. But, like, you're leading the freaking... Right?
Yeah. And just be happy it's not Meghan Markle, right? We'll take that.
Like, I was just like, what the fuck? William is not even heir to the throne yet. No. Which is typically the Prince of Wales. Sorry to tell you. Which right now is Charles. So unless Charles died and I didn't know about it, he ain't the Prince of Wales.
But TMZ said at one point he was Prince of Wales, probably, and that's where they got the urn from.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah. But it was just, I couldn't believe it because it's like right there in the ledge. I'm like, you don't you have cue cards? What the the names are right in front of you. Yeah. They're in plaques on the chair.
Yeah, we don't educate our kids on those kinds of things anymore.
No. I mean, most of the scouts didn't realize that only a royal could sit in that chair.
No, I wouldn't have known that either personally.
Yeah,
I was in scouts for years too. I never learned that.
There's a chair in the Winnipeg Legislative that it has every royal that sat on it on a plaque on the chair. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's just a little metal brass thing. That chair is only reserved for the royals. So when Elizabeth's here, Charles, William, whatever, they're the only ones allowed to sit in the chair.
Did you sit in the chair?
No. They have it fenced off. Roped off. Yeah. It's like I swear they protect that more than they protect a diamond or something.
Probably. It sounds like it. They do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, I'll go back to another thing when we talk about people aren't very educated. The Queen Mother, who I loved. Mm-hmm. I loved the Queen Mom. She was so great. Before she passed, she was just awesome. I loved that old bird. Anyway, when Diana died.
Right, yes.
I loved how the Queen Mother basically backhanded every single Brit in one sentence. Because when Diana died, the big outcry was, why is the royal standard at full mast and not at half mast?
Yeah.
What they don't realize is what the Queen Mother pointed out. The royal standard did not drop for my husband, who was a king. Why would it drop for Diana?
Because she was on TV all the time, I guess.
Right? It didn't drop for my husband.
Right.
Because the royal standard never drops. Because if the royal standard drops, that means the reigning monarch is dead. I got news for you, folks. That never happens.
No, by
Because when
design.
Elizabeth's heart stops beating, Charles is the reigning monarch.
Yeah.
So there's no time when there's not a reigning monarch.
But what's happened is people think, well, is this person popular or not? Not like there's rules in place and standards in
Yeah,
place for a reason that have always existed. Instead, it's like, well, she was super nice. Let's lower the flag.
it's
That's not
not the
how
way
it
it works.
works. And Queen Victoria, controversial to some people, but
Mm-hmm.
the statue is not there to celebrate her and say she was a perfect person or queen. It's because she had an impact on Canada.
Canada.
And
Yeah.
that's a conversation you should have with that statue present. We're not saying she was perfect. No one ever said that.
No.
But so just to cut her head off and throw it in the river or try to,
Yeah.
it's there's a converse that you've killed the conversation even at that point.
Yeah. And the other thing, and we're kind of going off topic here, but oh
Yeah,
well,
you're right.
I don't care. It all fits because the reason that the government can get away with mandates, can get away with stuff like this, is because we're not educating. Like when my son gets in trouble at school all the time, I take that as a badge of honor. I literally do because my famous story with my son, they got on the topic of having to respect people when they say they identify as something.
Mm-hmm.
My son stood up in his grade 10 class at the time and said, "Well, I identify as an attack helicopter, and you have to respect my decision."
Mm-hmm. And that went
Yeah,
well.
no, he got sent home, and I got a call.
Figured, yeah.
Right, but to me, I did a good job. But but that's just me. But I mean, if you look at things like it's crazy because we associate a position with knowledge,
Yes.
which is wrong. My favorite is, well, the doctors said that this is what needs to happen, and they know more than you. You didn't go to medical school.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Okay. So if you go back to 1925 to 1931, 35, 36,
Mm-hmm.
37 even, it was a well documented thing that most majority of doctors in high rank, not your lock and file, but your big, political doctors, we'll say,
Yeah.
yeah, they kind of supported euthanasia. Um,
And what they do too is they instead of saying what they're saying follow the science, but what they're really saying is follow this one particular scientist or guy
yeah,
in a lab coat, right?
yeah,
Not the science. They don't show us the science.
no, no,
Listen to this one
and
guy.
yeah, and like, I'm sorry, but they don't have a good track record. Um,
No. I have a fun side story to tell quickly to branch off
sure,
what you talked about with your son. My son's in high school as well. And he's got like the most diverse friend group you can imagine. One of his
mm-hmm,
friends, the teachers in social studies is talking about slavery. And she keeps referencing one of his friends who's black. And he like at first he just kind of doesn't say anything. And then this kid goes, "Can you please stop inferring that my family was enslaved? I'm
yeah,
Eritrean. I'm not black. And as far as I know, we were never slaves of anyone. So can you please stop referring to me that way? That's racist." And
yeah,
then the whole class gets on her and she had to apologize, of course. But like that's the mentality is I'm assuming because of the color of your skin, this was your experience.
yeah.
And that's
Well,
as that's and that's what they
here's a
normally would
here's a
do.
good one that I've used in the past. Okay, color of my skin, right?
Yeah. Right.
Well, my family's background is Irish Scot. Um, yeah, the Irish when they came over, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Welcome with open
Um,
arms. Yeah.
um, you know, we had it all when we came over, lad. um,
Yep.
shit. Let's not go there. Um, But so we looked at the convoy, and I mean, now it's in the States, and they're going to DC. I fear for them. Um,
Really?
I really do. Um, I don't. My words to them is stay peaceful. Don't give
Yeah.
them any. Don't give them anything.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what, don't give them a damn thing.
Yeah.
Do not give them anything. Because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
And to be fair, they're going to make it up anyways, probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
Don't
don't
make
give
it
them
easy for
anything
them.
that's factual.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on now.
Yeah.
They're gonna make up shit all the way. They're already doing it.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if I was one of those National Guards guys. You
Well,
mean my
and
weekend's canceled? Damn it.
it should come down to the conduct of the protesters, not
Yeah.
not the cause, and whether
Yeah.
or not the most people agree with it. It's the conduct. What are these
Well,
people? What are they doing?
well, I I hated that argument about the convoy. Most people in Canada disagree with it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Let's look at the last election, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Because Trudeau has a lot of nuts to stand up in front of a camera and say, I have the majority of Canada on my side.
Right.
You do, sir. Your entire platform, sir, was the mandates and the injections and COVID-19. That was basically your running. That's what you ran on.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did you not pick up seats, but you're still propped up by the NDP.
Yes. For some reason.
You didn't get the majority.
No.
So how can you sit there and tell me when you ran on this that you have the majority of Canadians when you couldn't even get the majority of Canadians at the polls? That's just the facts, Jack.
Also, to top that off, how can you possibly say that this is a required election and that it's fine and safe to do that when you can't have outdoor protests?
Oh, yeah. Well,
What is
that's
that?
not true either. You can have outdoor protests as long as it benefits them and they get a nice little cushy boost in their election.
Right. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Right? You're allowed to protest as long as they get a photo shot.
Yeah.
And it's something that will benefit them politically.
Yeah.
Then absolutely no problem. We'll bring you the flags.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
In fact, why don't you guys put a flag on Terry Fox?
Yeah, absolutely. Great Photoshop. And we'll even put the Prime Minister right in front kneeling.
Perfect.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That aged well. But see, the problem is the protest, whether you agreed with it or you disagreed with it. Okay. And if you agree with what's going on now in the States and in other parts of the world, that's not that's not my issue. Okay.
No.
You have the right to that opinion. I will not discredit you for that. Where I get pissed is where you say, well, I don't agree with that, so they have no right to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or majority of Canadians don't want this protest, or the majority of people who live downtown don't want these people there.
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. When the women's right to vote started, when they started protesting for the right to vote, take a quick little poll and see how much of the country supported that one.
Which is why a direct democracy is a horrible idea.
So here's a question: should they have stopped? Because the majority of the country at the time didn't support them, so they should have just shut up.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm right, but I'm not right because they should have. I'm so proud of what they accomplished. Okay, I'm not saying they don't have the right to vote. Don't misquote me on that, sumbitch.
No.
But what I'm saying is, 90% and I have to say 90% of every protest isn't a protest about stuff that people actually agree with,
Yeah.
right? It's not, by definition.
You wouldn't need to protest if everyone was
That's
on board
right.
with it.
If
Yeah.
everybody agreed,
Yep.
this would already be solved.
Yes. Chris Persia has a good comment here.
Yeah, I'll get to that in 1 second. I just gotta switch over. Okay, where is it? There we go. This one here.
Yeah.
What he didn't say, but he actually thinks is you might have the right to protest the government as long as it's done in the place with zero visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, the big thing is, right? You can single out, because I can almost guarantee you name me any movement, anyone,
Hmm.
and I can find somebody that has got something in his past. I can find somebody who has said something stupid. I can
Yeah.
find somebody that believes something stupid.
Especially now.
Right? They're a dime a dozen. I can find one. You just give me the topic, I'll find one.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't care if they're high up in the cause, low in the cause. I don't care. I can find one,
Right.
guaranteed. And here's the other one that I love, and it got brought up a while back. The old saying, well, it's not that old, but the saying, if there's 1,000 good cops and 2 bad cops, and the 1,000 cops don't get them fired, then there's 1,000 2 bad cops, right?
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I hate that shit. Here's why. Because you know how you shut that one up? You go, okay, where do you work?
Yeah.
And then they tell you, and you go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a background look at every single employee in your company. Yeah. We find anybody who is racist or anything like that, we're holding you accountable, and you'll lose your job.
Yeah.
No. I didn't mean that.
No.
Right? Immediate. It would be immediate.
What I mean was I have a soundbite someone else has told me.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Exactly. I have a soundbite, and that soundbite sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I dare you to apply it to your life. I dare you to apply it to your occupation.
They don't do that. They just repeat
No.
what they're told and they don't think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And
because on its face, it's a horrible argument, and
yeah, it is.
It's nonsensical. But anyway,
Yeah, it doesn't make any damn sense. Now, the other one is, how can you support police when they did this? Okay, I worked in the security field for 15 years. And I can tell you right now, there are guards working right now. I'm pretty sure they're still working. Shouldn't be old enough to retire yet.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're like me and got sick and couldn't continue anymore. That I wouldn't trust to guard a goldfish.
No.
But they're doing the job.
Yep.
But I wouldn't trust them to guard a goldfish because they have the mentality of a dumbass. Some of them think they're RoboCops.
Yep.
They don't have a gun, they don't have a badge, and they don't have backup. And this is something they don't get through the thick skull. I could do a whole broadcast on RoboCops.
Yeah. Well, I have a counter for that too, because obviously I don't like seeing some of the stuff that the police are doing, but if you're a good person, you believe yourself to be a good police officer, and you care about the people that you're protecting, you also know that this will be done by someone.
Yeah.
And if I'm the one to do it, at least I can make sure it's done
properly,
in the safest manner possible,
properly, yeah.
If not, you're giving up, you're handing it off to someone else, and then you can't be critical later because you could have done it and you let someone else do it and they did it wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, I don't support it, but that's why you would do it if you're a good cop.
Yeah. Well, it's like There's an old story in my security career that it was the saddest day in my career because I was a shop steward. I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but basically, the security company I was in was unionized. Okay, so I was the shop steward. I was the middleman. So there's the rep from the union, then there's the shop steward, and then there's the regular member. So if a member has an issue, they can either go directly to the guy or they come to me, and then I go and I can argue on their behalf. Yada yada yada.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and because I liked to have contact with my guards, and I didn't work in Safeway, so I couldn't talk to a lot of people because they're spread all over the city.
Yeah.
I had a lot of them on Facebook at one point.
Right. Yeah.
So I get on the computer and I pull up my Facebook and I happen to see one of my guards. I won't mention his name. He has taken pictures of every inch of fence line around a trucking compound. Uh-huh. He's taken a picture of the lock that secures the main gate. He has taken a picture of the trucking log telling what trucks went in and out and what time and what their truck cell number was, and posted it all on Facebook. Then he has turned around because he had this grand thing of grandeur that he was going to start his own security company by putting his logo over our logo and taking a picture in front of it.
Oh my God.
I had to report it immediately. Now, as a shop steward, I'm supposed to protect the guards.
Yes. Yeah, it's a weird
not get them fired.
As a supervisor.
Which is what I'm doing when I pick up that phone.
Right.
The minute I pick up that phone, I know I'm getting someone fired. If, at the very least, they're getting fired.
Yeah.
But here's my thought. We have 3 other trucking companies. The reason we got that trucking company that he happens to be working at is because there was suspected of an inside job because there were 6 trailers parked in the compound. The only one that got broken into was the one that had something in it.
Mm-hmm.
Little suspicious.
Yeah,
so they fired the security company and brought in us.
Right.
Now this idiot is posting the entire freaking fence line and the main gate and the trucking log.
Yeah.
But in
why
a way,
would you do
I was
that?
saving his bacon because if the company that he was protecting had seen that, one, we would have lost that contract and probably all 3 of the other truckings because they all talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why we got the contract in the first place. Sometimes you can't protect people from their own stupidity.
No, you can't. And
you can try.
Yeah. But he didn't ask you. Had he said, hey, is this a great idea I have here? And you would say, you protect him by saying, yeah, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah. Dude, they just hired us because they suspected an inside job and couldn't prove it. And now you're posting their security measures online?
Yeah.
Dude, no, this is a bad idea. And that truck log, if you know anything about trucking, the trucking companies in Winnipeg, I look like I'm an angel now because my sun is in my eyes. But oh well. Here, yeah. I'll do this because my picture looks stupid and it's driving me crazy. So let's change that too. We don't want that. There. No, there. There we go. Okay, so, each trucking company has a truck route designated to exit the city and what highways they take. If you know anything about the company, you know which routes they take. So if you have the trucking log and you know that they left the compound at 11 o'clock, well, then you know what route they took.
Yeah.
You can estimate their speed. Now you can estimate where they are.
Yeah.
And, what's this over here? It tells you what's in the truck.
This sounds like a math question I would have got wrong in high school.
Yeah. And it's like, You just post, and the guy's truck cell phone number is right there.
Yeah.
You just posted that on your Facebook page, you idiot. But yeah, you cannot protect people from their own stupidity.
No, you can't.
But back to topic at hand, which is people's stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, we sit there and we complain that nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets done because we don't really unite.
No.
It's this person against that person, this cause against that cause. Well, this cause is good, but what about our cause?
Yes. Well, and further to that, we cheer against each other.
Yeah.
Like we want you not to get what you want. That's somehow a win for me, for you not to get something that you deserve.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's always funny during election time for me. I find out who they're doing badly in the polls with real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the initiatives go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're doing bad in polls with the average, there's going to be a shit ton of stuff coming that way. Real quick.
Or promises of.
Or promises of. Usually it's promises of that never mature. We promised you a brand new car. Why is there a Volkswagen Beetle from the 70s in my driveway? We promised you a car.
It's new to you.
Yeah, but it barely runs. It's a car. We promised you a car.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you thought we meant a new one. Oh, no.
Yeah, you misunderstood.
Yeah. You didn't read the fine print.
If you don't want it, we'll take it back.
Yeah, exactly. No problem. But it just drives me crazy. And then the other thing that really bothers me, and the Convoy has really pointed this out, is how little people look into stuff.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
Right? Billy Bob at work told me, did you hear that, those people that are downtown, they're violent and they're just a mess. Oh, yeah? Well, how do you know that? Well, Billy Bob told me.
Yeah.
How did Billy Bob know? Well, I don't know. You don't even know how he knows.
Right.
But you will stand up and swear on a stack of Bibles that they're violent and they're bad and terrible people. Well, have you been down to the protest at all? Well, no, I wouldn't be caught dead over there.
Right, of course.
Right? Well, have you done research into what they're about? Well, I watched a little on news. I saw a little bit on it.
Well, what you didn't see on the news was the counter protest with the Soviet Union flag. That wasn't anywhere.
No.
Right? Didn't see
NJPs, yes. If another fellow Winnipegger, yes. SJPs. They're always honking the horns. Yeah. Have you ever seen, you'd think that downtown would be used to horns honking. I mean, no, seriously, you'd think they'd be used to it by now. Have they ever, what did they do when the Jets game lets out?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Well, what do they do when the Jets game lets out? Or heaven forbid, whiteout during playoffs. Oh, why haven't they complained about that yet? Because I bet you they make a shit ton more noise than the protesters did. I guarantee that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And oh my goodness, streets were blocked off.
And where they were here, there's very few people who live there. Like those truly are mostly government buildings.
It's government buildings. The courthouse is right there.
Yeah.
The old courthouse is right there. The lawyer's building is right there.
Yeah.
Where they were doing it, I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't very disruptive. Yeah, okay, downtown driving. But downtown driving during rush hour is a pain in the ass at any time of the day.
It is.
Try driving downtown when the Jets game lets out.
Oh, God.
Hell, try walking downtown when the Jets game lets out.
Yeah.
That's, especially if they lose. Oh my God.
At least with
Then
the
people are
truckers, you know
driving
where it's going to be.
slow and they're, piss me off. Or try driving down Pembina Highway when the Bombers game lets out. Good
Right.
effing luck with that.
Yep.
Um, it's crazy, but we complain because people honked. Really? Really, that's your complaint? They
Yeah.
honk their horn.
Yeah. But these people are
Um,
heroes, right? They were heroes earlier on. Last year, they were heroes.
they're heroes. Yeah, yeah.
Now they're
But
villains.
now they're villains because, the government said so.
Yep.
And it's so just mind blowing. Like, I go for dialysis. I haven't made a big secret of this. So, in order for me to do anything in this world, I needed to get vaccinated. Yay me! So
Mhm.
I went and I put it off for as long as I possibly could, and then they made it so I couldn't even go in a restaurant. And I
Yeah.
went, well, screw it. All right, fine. So I agreed to myself that I would get the two. I would get the two that were basically, might as well say, legally required. Well, I just get the two, and then it's, we've got to give you your third and your fourth
Right.
because you're on dialysis and blah, 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 blah. I told them where to stick the third one, and it wasn't in me. Um,
It's one of those things where they don't want to talk about why it's important. They just want to give you talking
it's
points about it.
important.
Right. You're going to kill somebody. How?
Well, my other favorite is now they're on a vaccine kick in the
Yeah.
hospitals. Oh my goodness, are they especially on the dialysis ward? That's all we hear. And it's not only that vaccine. Okay? There are
Hmm.
other ones.
Yeah.
I literally had a nurse point blank tell me when I was putting off getting the vaccine, you have to get this vaccine because we have other vaccines to give you yet. Like, that was her exact words. We have other ones we need to give you yet. And I went, you're funny.
I have a hospital story for you for people who may be interested in this stuff. But if you have a loved one in Canada who's in the hospital, and there's usually, it's Canada, so the rooms are fairly packed. So you're in a room with 3 other people. There's 4 beds in a hospital room, and one of those
Mhm,
people isn't vaccinated. No visitors can go to see other people in that room.
mhm.
Whether you're vaccinated or not doesn't matter.
Yep.
So how does that make any sense?
But the people can be there though,
Yeah, they can be
right?
there, and
Like that's the kicker, right?
who are
Well,
you
you can't be
protecting?
there, but the person who's already sick
Yeah,
can be.
yeah. There's
Do you
3
have any
people in that
idea how much
room.
sense that doesn't make?
And not being
That's like
vaccinated doesn't mean doesn't mean you have COVID.
It's like, well, the workers at the nuclear plant can be around that reactor, but
Yeah,
you can't be.
yeah, it's fine.
It's like, what? I'm confused. What the fuck? Um, uh, you know, have a good one, my dear. Hopefully you win a lot, and I'll see you tonight at karaoke.
Good
Um,
luck.
but like it just drives me insane how like nobody does research in anything anymore, and nobody pays attention to history
No.
at all.
Well, they
I
erased
mean,
that.
it's crazy because we sit there and we look at stuff like the convoy. And when I
You
was
got it.
growing up,
You got
you
it, Mrs. Canuck.
yeah, I saw him. Oh, put a knuckle bug in his ear backstage. But you know, it's crazy. Now I lost train of thought there.
Sorry, man.
But it's just insane because people don't pay attention to anything anymore.
No.
I mean, we used to, when I was growing. There's where I was going. When I was growing up, we had a term. It was very common. It's called agree to disagree. That somehow has become outlawed. That is
Yeah.
public enemy number one. You're not allowed to agree to disagree and get along.
No. Well, that would go against the division idea.
Well, yeah. You're not allowed to agree to disagree and get along. And like there's a point, like I'll debate somebody, but there's a point where you just go, I am beating a dead horse. Next
Yeah.
topic, please.
Yeah,
Right?
and you're supposed to debate the topic, not the person.
Yeah, and not only that, but then you go to move on and it's right back to that topic because for some reason they feel they have to convert you.
Yeah, they're saving you.
Yeah, it's like, have you been studying Catholicism in the 1820s?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Ugh.
Bloody hell. But it just drives me crazy because the old theory of agree to disagree and move on, keyword there, move on, um,
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore.
No.
It's argue until you convert. And not
And
even good arguments, which could be fun if they were good. But it's the same 4 talking points over and over and over again, like it's going to change my mind the 15th time you tell me.
yeah, and they don't, because they don't have an argument.
No.
And if they do have one, they don't know why they have it.
No, they have no freaking idea. I heard it on the news, or Billy Bob told me, or
Yeah.
I read it somewhere. That's my favorite. I read it somewhere. Well, where did you read it?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Was it Twitter?
So what you're telling me is you just pulled that out of your ass, but you think that if you say you read it somewhere, it adds credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I read somewhere that 9 out of 10 dentists like this toothpaste. So this is the toothpaste you have to buy from now on. Right. I read it somewhere.
Yes. There's only one toothpaste. Why do we have
Yeah.
multiple?
Yeah, I read it somewhere. 9 out of 10. There you go.
Get these other ones out of here.
Toothpaste.
More
Yeah,
choice for you.
we've solved the toothpaste debate. But it just baffles my ever loving mind. Like the convoy itself was so great because and you can disagree with the individuals participating. You can disagree. I have no problem with that. The thing about it is, even with the extreme people, nobody got beat up.
No.
Nothing got damaged. Nothing got destroyed. For the love of God, they had bouncy houses. I thought it was Canada Day.
Yeah. Well, the news tried to make it look like there was always, it's about to break out into violence when there was nothing further from the truth. And thank God for YouTube in the sense where people like Fat Steven were streaming all day long.
Yes, he did an awesome job.
He did, and he stayed neutral too. Really, I thought.
Yeah, he did a very good job. I have nothing but good things to say about Fat Steven's coverage of it. It was actually amazing. And I will say this though, and I could be wrong. Fat Steven can correct me. I'm perfectly fine with that. But as it went on, you could almost tell the lean.
Yeah.
Like, especially once the police moved in and everything.
Yeah.
It's two different things. What people, the perception is key. Perception is key. Reality is meaningless.
Yes.
That is the modern reality. Perception is everything. Reality is meaningless. As long as you can make the perception of something, it becomes fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. But I think we've done pretty good for ourselves here, and we've kind of covered it and gone all over the place. So I'll let you give final thoughts and promote the hell out of whatever you got going on.
Okay. Yeah, I've got my own channel going, and I've just started working on it and putting some videos on there, and I don't have a real direction on it yet, but I'm just kind of making whatever feels like it could be fun to make at the time, and try to be funny if I can. Try not to make fun of people, but I'll make fun of maybe what they like. And on Tuesdays, I'm on a show with Salty Texas Sea, and started off as a Wheel of Time show because that TV show is just horrible, and so we broke that down for a bit, but now that's not on. So we have other guests come on, and we actually had Doomcock on last week for do a cameo, which was pretty cool, which was kind of surreal actually. And we were Maxwell Von Priestley was on last week, and he's been on a few times. Purple Valkyrie's been on, and so we just We actually, what people don't get is how much work goes into the planning of those types of shows. I had no idea as just a chat person and a fan. You guys, you do work to get those things to come together like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't always go to plan either. I'll tell you that right now. It
Almost
does
never.
not go to plan. You know, you'll be all ready to go, and then all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, StreamYards will decide to give you the finger, or
Yep.
YouTube will decide to give you the finger because it won't let you put up the proper thumbnail. It's decided that this thumbnail is better. There
Yeah,
are a whole
that's
bunch of
right.
little things that just piss you off. Um,
We got nuked one week because I showed too much of it. I think it was 8 seconds of the Halo trailer.
yeah,
Done.
yeah, and there's no rhyme
Nuked.
or reason to that either.
No.
By the way,
It's an
you'll
ad.
show 10 seconds of something next time, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
learned
kind of
that
what I'm
on
up to.
karaoke.
Yeah. It's
But yes,
just
for
getting into
sure,
it.
definitely subscribe to Zach's. He's a great Winnipegger, and you know, he puts up with me, so that's got to say something.
Appreciate that.
But with that, folks, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things for final thoughts on this. Um, Kudos and support to the American truckers. May you be safe in DC. May God ride with you. To the Canadian guys, you won. You're still winning. Keep it up. Don't let them take you down. And yeah, JP's, he's a Winnipeg too. Yeah, he's a Winnipegger as well. Hold on, I'll get it for you there, JP. I will get it for you. I gotta go through I normally have this already pulled up, but of course I didn't because I'm an idiot.
If you search on YouTube for Zach7 with a 7 at the end, it comes to me first.
All right.
Zach's is everywhere. Zach7.
There we go. Gotcha. Okay. I like that maple leaf. Okay. There we go. Paste. Bing. There you go. JP's. It's in the chat.
Much appreciated.
But yes. Yeah. Zach's is a fellow Winnipegger. Sat down. I've actually sat in a Tim's and we've jaw jacked back and forth. But with that, just remember, you may not agree with a person's decision or a person's argument, but they have the right to it. As long as it doesn't personally hurt you, like if they're not calling for you to be sodomized, then you know what? Maybe just leave them alone. You know, agree to disagree and move the fuck on. You know, unless they're calling for you to be sodomized, then you might have a couple of words for them. But
That's a good line to
other
draw.
than that, yeah. Other than that, learn the words agree to disagree, move on. And with that, thank you and take her easy.